As a man in his late 40s, I never imagined that I would find myself in the midst of a heartbreaking tale of betrayal. My wife and I had been together for over 20 years, our bond seemingly unbreakable. However, life has a way of throwing unexpected curveballs, and the events that unfolded at my wife's high school reunion changed everything. I still remember the apprehension in Emily's voice when she first mentioned the invitation to her high school reunion. Despite the initial reluctance, her curiosity and desire to reconnect with her past eventually won over. Little did I know, this event would serve as the catalyst for upheaval in our once tranquil life. The reunion night, she dressed with care, her excitement palpable, igniting a sense of unease within me. Yet, I brushed it aside, attributing it to my overactive imagination. When she returned home, her eyes sparkled with an intensity I hadn't seen in years. She spoke of friends, of laughter, but most unsettling was her mention of Jason, her first love. The way her voice softened, saying his name should have been my first warning. Weeks slipped by, and Emily's nostalgia seemed to burgeon into something more. Whispers of her and Jason found their way to me, igniting a firestorm of doubt and suspicion in my heart. It was then I noticed the distance growing between us, an emotional chasm that no amount of effort could bridge. The turning point came unexpectedly. The unique location of their betrayal, our home, amplified the hurt. To think, while I was enveloped in the monotony of work, they were entwined in the sanctuary of our bedroom. The very thought was both bewildering and repulsive, an erotic betrayal that mocked the vows we had taken. It was the audacity of their choice that stung the most. Our bedroom, a place that once symbolized our unity and love, had been tarnished. The bed that held our secrets and dreams was now a stage for their deceit. The violation of that sacred space was a silent scream in the vast emptiness that had become of my heart. Reflecting on that period is akin to navigating a minefield of emotions. The initial shock has faded, but the remnants of betrayal linger, a haunting echo of what was lost. Each memory of discovering their affair, particularly the vivid images of betrayal in our once shared sanctuary, is a jigsaw piece in the puzzle of my healing process. The journey from suspicion to confirmation was a descent into a reality I never wanted to face, an erosion of trust that transformed the essence of our marriage. The air of the high school reunion was charged with a sense of nostalgia that was both intoxicating and unsettling. It was there, amidst the laughter and reminiscing of days long gone, that Emily stumbled back into the orbit of her first love, Jason. The rekindling of their past connection was almost tangible, a smoldering ember that threatened to ignite with the slightest provocation. I remember Emily recounting the evening to me, her eyes alight with a spark I hadn't seen in years. The way she spoke of Jason, her voice laced with a mixture of fondness and regret, should have been a clear signal to me. They had shared something profound in their youth, a love that, albeit dormant, had never fully extinguished. In the weeks that followed, Emily's demeanor began to shift. She became more withdrawn, her mind seemingly ensnared by the tendrils of a past that was suddenly very much present. It was during this time that they began meeting in secret, reigniting the flame of their teenage romance. Their choice of rendezvous was what cut the deepest. Their encounters unfolded in the sanctity of our home, in our very bedroom. The thought of them together, in the place where we had woven the tapestry of our lives, was a betrayal of the highest order. It was in this room that we had shared whispered promises and dreams in the dark, and yet it had become the stage for their clandestine affair. The audacity of their intimacy in such a setting added an almost perverse thrill to their deception, a cruel juxtaposition to the love and trust I believed we shared. The betrayal was not just in the act, but in the violation of our private sanctuary. Our bedroom, once a haven of our love, had been defiled by their secret encounters. It wasn't merely the physicality of their affair that tormented me. It was the intimacy, the shared moments in a space that was sacred to us. They had taken something irreplaceable from me, something far beyond the physical confines of those four walls. The discovery of their affair shattered the illusion of the life I thought we had. It was a brutal awakening to a reality I was unprepared to face, a lesson in the fragility of trust and the painful cost of betrayal. The unraveling of what we had began so subtly that at first I mistook the signs for mere fluctuations in Emily's mood and our marriage's rhythm. As days merged into weeks, her behavior took on a cloak of secrecy that was both unfamiliar and unsettling. She started returning home later than usual, her explanations vague and her gaze evading mine. The intimacy that had once flowed so naturally between us now felt strained, as if she were miles away even when we sat side by side. The suspicion that something was amiss gnawed at me, a relentless whisper that refused to be silenced. Yet nothing could have prepared me for the truth that lay hidden in plain sight. It was in our home, within the walls of our bedroom, a sacred sanctuary where we had shared whispers of love, dreams of the future, and the warmth of our bodies entwined, that Emily chose to betray our vows. I still remember the day I stumbled upon the reality of their affair. I had come home earlier than expected, the house greeting me with a silence that was both familiar and foreboding. Moving on autopilot, I made my way to our bedroom, the door ajar just enough to reveal the shattering truth. There, in the place where we had built a life together, was Emily with Jason, lost in a moment that was theirs alone. The sight of them together, in the very heart of our home, was an image that would haunt me, a silent testament to the unraveling of the life we had built. Their betrayal was not merely physical. It was a profound desecration of the love and trust we had nurtured over the years. The room that had once been a haven for our love had become the stage for their secret rendezvous, the bed that had held our shared dreams now witness to their clandestine affair. The audacity of their actions, the sheer intimacy of their betrayal in that sacred space, was a blow that left me reeling, a vivid embodiment of the erosion of trust that had once seemed unbreakable. In that moment, everything I believed about my marriage, about the woman I loved, was called into question. The beginning of their affair marked the end of the world as I knew it, a profound breach that was as much about the location of their transgressions as it was about the act itself. The revelation hit me like a freight train. Our home, the very essence of our shared lives, had become the backdrop for Emily's affair with Jason. This wasn't just any place. It was our sanctuary, a repository of 2 decades worth of love, conflict, reconciliation, and shared dreams. To discover that the bed we had chosen together, where we had whispered sweet nothings and planned our future, was now the stage for their clandestine meetings, sent a shiver down my spine. I can still vividly recall the day the veil was lifted from my eyes. Returning home early from work, intending to surprise Emily with dinner, I was instead greeted by silence, a silence that felt ominous and heavy, laden with secrets. As I ascended the stairs, each step felt like wading through treacle, my heart hammering against my ribcage, a premonition of dread enveloping me. The door to our bedroom was slightly ajar, an unusual sight that spurred a knot of anxiety in my stomach. Peering through the gap, the sight that met my eyes was a tableau of betrayal. There, amidst the tangled sheets of our bed, lay Emily and Jason, wrapped in an embrace that was both familiar and alien. The light filtering through the curtains cast a soft glow on their entwined figures, lending an almost ethereal quality to the scene, a stark contrast to the maelstrom of emotions raging within me. The intimacy of their encounter, underscored by the setting, felt like a desecration of all that our bedroom represented. It was a space that had borne witness to the most private moments of our marriage, now tainted by deceit. What haunted me the most was not just the physical act of their betrayal, but the realization that our home, a place I had believed to be our fortress against the world, had been infiltrated by lies. The very walls that had sheltered us now echoed with the whispers of their affair, each room a reminder of the trust that had been so cavalierly broken. Their choice of our bedroom for these secret encounters added a perverse twist to their deceit, a cruel irony that the bed which had symbolized our unity was now the bedrock of their duplicity. As the days turned into weeks following the revelation of Emily's affair, I found myself ensnared in a relentless cycle of disbelief and sorrow. Trust, once the cornerstone of our marriage, now lay in ruins. It wasn't merely the betrayal itself that eroded what trust remained, but the violation of our home, our bedroom, a place that had witnessed the deepest intimacies of our marriage. The thought that Emily and Jason had chosen this sanctuary for their trysts filled me with a visceral sense of desecration. Each night, as I lay in our bed alone, the silence of the room was deafening, broken only by the echoes of laughter and whispered endearments that seemed to linger in the air, remnants of their clandestine encounters. The bed, once a haven of warmth and love, now felt cold and alien, a constant reminder of their intimacy. I would close my eyes, only to be assaulted by mental images of them together, their bodies entwined in a passionate embrace amidst the sheets we had once shared. The soft glow of the afternoon sun casting long shadows that played over their secret moments of infidelity. This imagery, though devoid of explicit detail, was enough to send waves of nausea and pain coursing through me, a cruel juxtaposition to the memories of love and connection that room once symbolized. My attempts to confront these feelings, to rationalize or understand, were futile. With every unanswered text message, every late return home, and every unexplained absence of Emily's, the chasm between us widened, a gaping wound where trust used to reside. The sheer normalcy of our home's exterior belied the turmoil within, a stark reminder of how deeply the roots of betrayal had entwined themselves into the fabric of our life together. The erosion of trust was not instantaneous. It was a slow, agonizing process that fed on every lie, every secret meeting they thought hidden. It stripped away the veneer of our marriage, revealing a hollow shell where love and trust had once flourished. In its place, a relentless questioning took hold, a skepticism that colored my perception of everything Emily said or did. This pervasive doubt was a constant companion, whispering insecurities that I could neither silence nor escape. The sanctity of our home, once our refuge, had been irrevocably compromised, the intimacy we shared usurped by the shadows of deceit. The day the truth unveiled itself felt like any other, until the moment it didn't. He decided to come home early, a rare respite from my usually unyielding schedule, with the idea of surprising Emily. The anticipation of seeing her smile, the warmth of our casual evening plans, floated through my mind as I turned the key in our front door, utterly unaware of the upheaval that awaited me. Silence greeted me, a silence so profound and unsettling, it seemed almost tangible, wrapping its cold fingers around my heart with an ominous squeeze. My footsteps felt heavy, laden with a dread I couldn't quite place as I made my way through our home. It was the ordinary nature of the setting that made what I found so extraordinary, so jarringly out of place. As I approached our bedroom, a sliver of light from the hallway illuminated a scene that would become etched in my memory forever. The door, usually closed, was ajar, casting a narrow beam of light across the dimly lit room that revealed Emily and Jason in an embrace that was anything but innocent. The soft glow of the evening light lent an almost surreal quality to their figures, intertwined on the bed we had chosen together. The bed that had been the keeper of our secrets, our dreams, and now, her betrayal. The air seemed to thicken with tension and unsaid words as I stood there, a silent observer to the shattering of my reality. The intimacy of their encounter, heightened by the sanctity of our marital bed, struck a chord deep within me, a mingling of disbelief, anguish, and an undeniable sense of violation. This wasn't just any room. It was our sanctuary, desecrated by their actions, transforming what should have been a place of comfort and love into a tableau of deceit. In that moment, time seemed to stand still, the remnants of what I believed our marriage to be crumbling around me. The audacity of their choice, the sheer intimacy of their betrayal within the walls of our home, was a revelation that shifted the very foundation of my life, leaving a void where trust once resided. Navigating through the debris of our fractured marriage in the days following the discovery of Emily's affair was akin to walking through a once-cherished home, now laid to waste by a storm. The betrayal, particularly its occurrence in the very heart of our shared sanctuary, our bedroom, left me grappling with an array of emotions that ebbed and flowed like a tumultuous sea. The intimacy of their deceit, underscored by the setting of our most private space, was a wound that cut deeper than the act itself. Our bed, where we had shared countless nights of tender closeness and whispered dreams, had been defiled by their clandestine meetings. The soft whispers and laughter that once belonged to us were now replaced with haunting silences that screamed of their betrayal. The aftermath was a labyrinth of soul-searching and introspection, where every turn and corner revealed fragments of memories tainted by the reality of Emily's infidelity. It was in the quiet moments alone in our bedroom, surrounded by the ghosts of our past, that the magnitude of what was lost truly began to settle in. The room, once a cradle of our love and hopes, had become a stage for their forbidden romance, their bodies entwining in the shadows of our life together, casting everything we had built into a stark, unforgiving light. Struggling to reconcile the woman I loved with the actions she had chosen, I found myself oscillating between disbelief and a profound sense of betrayal. The sanctity of our home, and more piercingly, our bedroom, was violated not just by the physical act, but by the betrayal of trust and the intimacy shared in a space that was sacred to our union. As I moved through the once familiar spaces of our home, each room whispered secrets of the life I thought we had, every corner a stark reminder of the distance that now lay between us. The path to healing was obscured, shrouded in the shadows of the love and trust that had been so carelessly cast aside. While the physical evidence of their encounters was not brazen, the emotional landscape of our marriage bore the scars of their betrayal, a silent testament to the intimacy and promises broken in the very spaces that were meant to be our refuge. In the aftermath of Emily's affair, I found myself adrift in a sea of broken promises and shattered dreams. The revelation, unearthed in the sanctity of our bedroom, bore an indelible mark on my soul. A room that had witnessed the tender whispers of our love became the stage for their forbidden liaison. I grappled with the imagery of their closeness, their entanglement in our bed, under the same sheets we had shared for years. It was a silent, insidious form of betrayal, one that eroded the foundation of what I believed was an unshakable bond. Time, however, has a way of gently coaxing open the clenched fists of anger and pain. In the quiet solitude of many sleepless nights, I began to understand that my identity, my sense of self, couldn't remain tethered to the act that broke us apart. The journey of healing urged me to step beyond the confines of betrayal, to seek a new horizon where my worth wasn't anchored to the echoes of Emily's choices. I've started to piece together the fragments of my life, discovering strength in my resilience and solace in my solitude. The unusual location of their encounters, once a source of profound anguish, has transformed into a stark reminder of my capacity for growth and renewal. It's a peculiar form of liberation, recognizing that the spaces we shared, tainted by deceit, don't hold the power to define my future. As I reflect on this odyssey of hurt and healing, I'm learning to embrace the possibility of a life unmarred by betrayal. My path forward is lined with the lessons of the past, a testament to the enduring spirit of a man who's weathered the storm and is ready to step into the light.